So, have you guys heard anything about this situation with the nurses being disqualified or what is it? Donald Trump has removed nursing programs from the list of occupations that would qualify as professional degrees. Donald Trump has basically put a cap on the amount of money people applying for nursing loans would be able to get in the course of a year and throughout the duration of their training in nursing school. Now, a lot of people are mad about this. I'm getting mixed emotions. I got some people who are just absolutely pissed off and this is not fair. That's what they're saying. And then I have other people who are nurses, people who are in the medical field, and they are very happy about what Donald Trump is doing. So we'll talk about it right now. And I guess we can let you guys all decide what you believe about it. Let me know in the comments if you think that Donald Trump removing nursing from the list of professional degree occupations is a good idea, or do you think that this is a horrible idea that will have a negative impact on America? We're going to play a clip.
Let's turn to a headline that is creating some backlash and confusion as the Department of Education left nursing and other professions off a list of, quote, professional degrees in a proposed rule over loans. And this move could affect how students finance their education in the future. There are hundreds of thousands of nurses and soon to be nurses impacted by this, as annual loans for new borrowers capped at $20,500 for graduate students, $50,000 for professional students, and a lot of outrage and backlash over this. Let's bring in right now the president of the American Nurses Association, Dr. Jennifer Menzik. Kennedy, I appreciate your time here on Live Now from Fox, and rightly so, there's a lot of conversations happening about this. How does this directly impact nurses?
No, thank you for bringing up this topic. It is so important. And I'm really hoping this is just a miscommunication or a misstep with the Department of Education. But we're hearing from many nurses and many individuals who want to go into nursing, many individuals who want to become nurse faculty, and advanced practice registered nurses who are wondering if they should continue with this education. And so with these caps, the way they are proposing them, individuals wouldn't be able to have the access to the full amount of their tuition in many programs. So we're going to see people decide not to go be nurse practitioner. So we're going to see people decide not to go on to be nurse faculty. And this is going to exacerbate a shortage of primary care providers, as well as people who are teaching the next generations of nurses.
Yeah, and you mentioned just of the funding as people going to school for this, because it is an intensive process. And if you're a patient, you almost want it to be to get the best care necessary for this. Are you concerned about the perception as well? Because I know there's a lot of nurses out there that are already nurses, potentially going back to school. Just the perception from patients that they're potentially labeling nursing not as a professional degree. Do you think that hurts the profession?
No, I think we definitely need to clarify, and I think we need to make sure we speak very loud and clearly that nursing is a profession. Nurses are professional, and that we're not going to, tolerate anything less than this. And it's absolutely important to be included in that Department of Education definition, particularly when they've added to that definition that they're looking at graduate versus professional loans, and that the professional loans are those high return on investment. And like, what is more possibly higher return on investment than nursing and advanced practice registered nurses, such as nurse practitioners and faculty? We are short primary care providers in our rural areas. We are short nurses. We're going to have at least 6% shortage in nursing. Now, we have over 5 million nurses, so 6% is a large amount. And we have tens of thousands of nurses retiring each year. We had over 80,000 applicants into nursing programs that were qualified that didn't get into their program, mostly because of a lack of nurse faculty. So we cannot allow this to stand because it's going to have devastating impacts to the nursing profession and to the healthcare structure of the United States. Nursing is the backbone of the healthcare system in the United States.
Yeah, so she's going to say everything that she's supposed to say, but the reality is I honestly support the declassification of nursing as a professional degree. And the reason this, in my opinion, needed to be done is because you have people taking out hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of loans, and they are unable to pay these loans back. This is exactly what got us to the point where you have people trying to decide who's going to be president of the United States based on who's promising to give taxpayer dollars, most times the taxpayer dollars of people who never went to school to get a degree, to these students or to these nurses, these professionals, to pay off their loans that they took out, benefited from, and never thought to, hey, let me give half of my paycheck to this guy over here who never went to school, but he has a good paying job. But now they want that guy to give a significant part of his paycheck to the government to pay off their loans. That's the reality. Every single person who sits up and says, well, these are professional degrees. Well, they're really not. They're not really professional degrees, because these certifications and licenses are not obtained primarily, well, many of them are not obtained at universities or colleges. They're vocational colleges, schools that, in my opinion, are robbing the American people blind. And the way they're doing that is they are charging ridiculous amounts of money for loans, that for the tuition, knowing that the people who just desperately want to get inside of these nursing jobs will pay whatever without even questioning the cost, without even double checking the amounts or verifying what they're getting in exchange for these large sums of money, because those people are saying, hey, look, I'm just going to take out a loan and ultimately never pay it back. I mean, you can argue with me all day, but I've talked to several nurses, several people in the medical field since this news broke, and many of them have told me that they're happy that this is happening because the abundance of student loan money for these non-professional degrees is causing a deterioration of the quality of care within the medical field. You have people getting jobs as nurses because they got the licensing who aren't even qualified to work the fryer at McDonald's. People who can't even work the cash register at McDonald's are walking around in hospitals masquerading as nurses. You have people selling degrees, selling nursing licenses and nursing certifications in different states. Let's be realistic. If you know that their loan money is going to come through and you're a crook, why would you ever fail this person? I'm going to let this person go through the system. I'm going to pass them through every class because I know the longer I keep them, guess what? The more of their loan money I am going to get. They do a 2-year program, they're probably going to have to take out a loan for both years. And do you think that that vocational school, American Career College, DeVry or ITT Tech or YO Tech or whatever it's called, do you think they're really about to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars by doing something stupid like failing someone in a class and kicking them out of the program if they're proven to be incompetent? You can look all over the United States of America. You have dozens, maybe hundreds of schools that are fake nursing schools. But they're pulling real money out of the federal government through the student loan process. Now, the way it was explained to me by nurses was that, these people are basically giving out bullcrap nursing certifications or licenses. These people come in, they're not qualified, they're scamming the system from top to bottom. They're scamming the system from top to bottom, and they're walking away with hundreds of thousands of dollars of your taxpayer money, and they're just getting away with it. They're not being held accountable. But my ultimate gripe against this situation is this. We just had thousands of people begging the government to pay back their student loans, right? Which means you go to school, you take out loans, you finish school, you go get a job, and for whatever reason, you're still not paying back those loans. So it makes total sense to me that the Trump administration puts a cap on non-professional degrees, because you've told the government that, hey, even though we're making it through the process and we're getting into the jobs that we want, we are still unable, with the money that we're being paid at these jobs, to pay our student loans. So why would anyone want the government to continue to give out student loans, which that comes from taxpayer dollars, right? Why would you want the government to keep giving these people your money, knowing that there's a good chance that these people are never going to pay this money back, and that they're going to come along in 4 years or 8 years and say, let's elect the guy who's promising to use the taxpayer money that the taxpayer loaned us, right? Or that we got from the bank. Let's vote for the guy who's going to use taxpayer money to then turn around and pay the banks back for the loans that we took out and that we ultimately benefited from. It makes total sense to me. I believe Donald Trump is 100% right. I believe if you are a person who is not going to do what it takes to secure the finances or the funds to pay for your nursing degree or your nursing license, I don't think you're the type of person who's going to do what it takes to secure the funds to pay back your student loans. I believe you're going to default on your student loans, and you're going to sit back and try to wait until we get a president or a Supreme Court that is dumb enough to use America's taxpayer dollars to pay back your loans. That's what I think is going on. Does anyone else have an opinion on this? I'll give you a few minutes to come up. Let me put the link in the comments. We might have some nursing professionals here. I have one Moose supporter. Moose was right, but they never come up. They know who's right, they know who's wrong, but they can never prove any of it. But yeah, so I'm with Trump on this one. I'm with the declassification of the nursing as a professional degree. You can go to any vocational school, learn, and as long as you could pass that NCLEX exam, you can become a nurse. That's not a degree. Is that a degree? Is nursing a professional degree? Or is it just a license? So you're just getting a license. Right. You're getting a license when it's all said and done. Where's the degree in that? Now, you can go to a university, and I believe you can get a degree in nursing. I'm not 1,000% sure. But yeah, you shouldn't be able to take out $200,000 worth of loans to go get a degree or a license that really shouldn't even, it's a license. So you shouldn't be allowed to take. That's like somebody saying, hey, can I take out a loan to get my driver's license? No. You're not, the course of study that you're undertaking is not that expensive to justify these big loans that these people are taking out. And like I said before, it's just the vocational schools and these second-rate colleges. They're just they're they're basically just raping the American student loan system and the financial aid system. Nursing, you can get a 4-year degree in nursing, but many of the people who are nurses do not have a 4-year degree. If you go to college and you do 4 years and you become a nurse or even a master's level nurse, I could understand the cost. I could understand that. But the problem is you have people who are just going to get licensed and they're going to American Career College or Brooks College or, all these little colleges. And those colleges are hitting the government for like 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, saying that that's what it takes for them to teach this person enough to where they can pass the NCLEX to get their nursing license. And we know that this is not true. We know that this is not true. I gave you guys the link in the comments. If you have expertise in the medical field, click the link, come on up, let us know what you know. And if you don't, guess what? My opinion is going to win. But just don't say that you didn't get an opportunity to shed some light on the situation. Nurse practitioners, all that. I believe, okay, so if you can get a loan for $100,000 for nurse practitioner or nurse anesthesiologist, okay, why don't you go pay the rest? Go work and get the rest. Because you have people who are anesthesiologists, they're going to be covered. You have people who are going to go into medical school to be doctors. They're covered. What's happened is you've allowed all these little what should I call them? These little like additional occupations within the medical field to come in, and the vocational schools are exploiting that. I mean, you have vocational schools with people taking out $20,000 loans, $40,000 loans to become a damn phlebotomist. It don't cost no $40,000 to teach somebody how to do phlebotomy. And then you got a bunch of nurses who can give shots and draw blood and do all that. So why do you need a phlebotomist? You just hire a nurse and she can do all that. All that's covered. And the ultimate problem is with the pay. The pay is being lowered in the nursing field because you have so many people who are able to enter into that field by just going to school for a year. They have 2-year programs. They have 1-year programs. They have 4-year programs. Here's the issue. You need to make sure that people are not just pilfering the student loan system. And then later on, these people are coming back saying, hey, man, I can't afford to pay my loans.